girlfriend to refill my drink. It's going to be funny.
Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day, as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. Hi, Don. That's my one watcher. So good evening, Sharona. Are you healthy enough to drink tonight? And that's a rhetorical question.
You're right. The sicker you are, the more you should drink is my philosophy. But yes, I am drinking this is in honor for Brian and for Zach, but Zach likes to drink the frou-frou stuff, and so I'm drinking a Mike's hard black cherry lemonade. It's quite tasty. Not a big cider person, but I've been drinking ciders lately. It's good, but I do have my backup. Those of you who did our live draft shall remember this. My favorite brandy, in case we need backup. So yes, I'm ready to go. Excellent.
And tonight we are bringing on raconteur, beer and whiskey wizard, and Bills fan, so we know he enjoys suffering, Mr. The Street FA on Twitter, a.k.a. Brian. Howdy. Welcome back.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? We're talking about beer, so I have, you can't see the bottle, but whatever. I have a Sierra Nevada Extra IPA that was dropped off at my house. I had a free case dropped off by one of the guys that I'm friends with on Twitter, House of Growlers.
Yeah.
Hooked me up with a free case, and then I also have a shot of whiskey and some pickle juice, which I will be, going after here in the next few minutes.
What does the pickle juice do?
Yeah, I just love pickles, and
my dad does too. He'll drink.
Athletes have, they drink pickle juice to help hydrate. So hey, why not work for alcoholics?
Yep.
I like that. That's a good mix, and I'm having Heavy Seas Plank 4, which is a quad that is aged on 4 different kinds of wood. Quite delicious. Me and Mike Bergosian have our little Google sheet going where we keep track of all the beers we buy and, what they cost in different states. So I got one of these a couple weeks ago. I drank 2 of these Heavy Seas Uncharted Waters on a Friday night. Had a bit of a headache on Saturday, but I think it was worth it. And I just love the quad. It's just very heavy, but it does have a little bit of the fruit flavor, but it hits you pretty hard up front. And it's like 10%.
Oh, well, see, there you go. See, Brian, you got to help me with Zach here. Zach, not only does he like the frou-frou beers, but he'll drink beers that only have 3% alcohol, which is like bullshit. It's, I'm
going to agree with you there. I think, the session beer movement that is happening right now, I'd be fine with that if the session beer movement was like $5 a 6-pack. But they're all charging like $10, and it's like a 4% beer. Yeah. I just can't get that. It's not a good enough return on investment.
It's not.
Exactly.
That's a,
If you're gonna drink, go for 7 to 10%.
Yeah.
For beer.
And I do enjoy my Abita strawberry, and that's fairly cheap for a 12-pack. And I got that Sierra Nevada Otra Vez, which is like their version of a Goza, my style. And that's a good one to kind of run through. So, because you're up to date on the latest NFL news, I figured we'd talk about the exciting Bills offseason. So
I know, I should look into that. Let me pull up my...
The fact that the Bills re-signed Richie Incognito, and that was actually a good move, how much is that putting you back?
I know. You know what? I had branded him Incognito during the whole Dolphins thing. Mm-hmm. But he's a hell of a lineman, and so I'm cool with them bringing him back because, let's face it, with Tyrod Taylor and in that situation, and not that Tyrod's a bad quarterback, but Tyrod's not a quarterback. He's not the traditional in the sense of, drop back what has been typically successful in the NFL. I feel like he's a good stopgap, but I don't think they're ever going to go to far in the playoffs or even get to the playoffs with Tyrod. So you need a good line to at least make that team be as successful as it can be. It made sense. I'm cool with Richie. I mean, shit. They could be stuck with, somebody whose name I can't remember that probably sucks. Sorry about that. I got a little lost.
The whole Bills team. So you already got ahead of me. I was going to ask about, the fact that it sounds like we're hearing all these rumors about the Bills kicking the tires on like rookie quarterbacks. I mean, geez, Tyrod Taylor rallied to beat the Titans in Nashville, and Rob Johnson couldn't do that. So come on, give me some love.
I'm a bigger fan of Tyrod Taylor than Brian is. But yeah, they have been. They've been looking at. I mean, I'm sure that the EJ Manuel situation kind of burned them a little bit.
Yeah. Still on the roster?
Yeah, I know. God.
Can't pick up his fifth-year option. Sorry, too soon.
The thing about Tyrod is, it's not that I don't think he can be like a good quarterback for years. I hate you. But it's that in order for Tyrod Taylor to be successful, their O-line is going to have to be good. They're going to have to be on top of it. They can't be average. They have to be good. Their running game is going to have to be good, and that's all going to get tied into the O-line. I mean, Tyrod can be successful to an extent. He can be the gold standard of quarterbacks that aren't that good that still won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer. Not that.
I think he's significantly better than Trent Dilfer.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Well, he is because he adds the athletic side. But then again, the Bills' defense isn't as good as the Ravens' defense was, no matter how much Rex or Rob, and by the way, Rob is garbage. Rob Ryan has been able to have a career in the NFL because of Buddy, and I mean...
That cracks me up.
Let's face it, every defense that guy has had has been like bottom 15 except for what, maybe 1 or 2 years
1
or
year.
something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the guy is surviving on name alone.
Yeah.
And now you're going to put 2 Ryans together. I mean, it's like... I just picture the Keystone Cops and the whatever that circus...
They should have just hired. They should have just hired Jimmy Schwartz and been done with it. When
I would have been cool with that, man. Jim Schwartz, and then find somebody to run the offense, and they would have been fine. Their defense.
They would have been good. They would have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Instead, we're going to do this whole starting all over shit.
That's going to be crazy.
3 years from now, we're going to start all over again, which is unfortunate. Yeah, but Rex, God. The worst part about being a Bills fan is Bills fans.
Yeah.
That really is the worst part because they are some stupid bastards some of the time. I mean, it's like I get being a blind faith fan, but Jesus, how much can you take? I mean, at what point are you like, all right, maybe I don't have to just always think that this is going to be the year. I mean, God, I get blasted for like saying they're going to be an 8-8 team and they turn out 9-7 and somebody's ready to fucking throw me under the bus because I was wrong.
Don't get me wrong, I like Rex Ryan from a personal standpoint. I mean,
he's fun.
Yeah, he's fun. I just am not, I just don't know. His coaching is up and down.
Rex Ryan is like Wade Phillips.
Yeah, okay.
Good coach, good players coach, good defensive coach. His spot is not to be the head coach.
Except that his defense sucked last year.
It did, and because he was too busy trying to be a fucking head coach. If Rex would just be a defensive coach and not worry about the rest of the shit, he'd be good. I feel like he'd be good. He'd be better than his brother. Okay. Rob, I mean, let's face it, Rob is like 10 years behind Rex. He's still got the stupid-ass hair, and he hadn't had the surgery yet. I mean, who the hell's trusting this guy?
Yeah, he was kind of perfect in New Orleans where he could go out and party and be the party guy, but yeah.
Sad that they couldn't even
Not much.
Below average. They were just terrible.
They're awful.
If they were below average, he'd probably still have a job.
Yeah.
They had one year, I think, because he got fired by like the Browns, and they got fired by the Raiders, and then the Saints signed him, and they had one kind of fluky, maybe top 10 year, and then he sucked for like the last 3.
No, and that wasn't the year with the fines and all that shit, was it? No.
No. That was in the Super Bowl era, but it was. I mean, last year, if you played daily fantasy, it was target the Saints defense. I mean, Mariota against the Saints.
Yeah.
It was nice that he came back to beat them, but it was like playing against air. I mean, they just had nothing on defense at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they have weird salary cap issues, but hey, why not?
Yeah, speaking of New Orleans, we should pour a little one out for
That's a good time for some whiskey right there.
Yeah, rest in peace.
God, that was some stupid shit.
Mm. It's interesting. The alleged suspect, the alleged guy, is kind of scary.
Yeah, right. He was like a 6 foot. He was like a big dude. It was like It wasn't like it was like some 5 foot nothing dude that got scared by the big black guy.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 dudes that were pretty much the same size, and I'm sure there was I'm sure there's more to the story. Who the hell
I'm
knows?
sure. Yeah.
But man,
Always
that's
is.
unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
A 34-year-old, 35-year-old dude that, you know, the life is still ahead of him. Young kids, all that shit. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the guy gets out of the league and still has his health, and
Yeah.
that happens. And I don't know though, because Sean Payton's been in the news talking about guns and all that, and I was like, we've had multiple schools shot up, and that hasn't led to anything. So I don't know if an NFL player getting shot is going to make any difference, but it's still like, so we got another person on the call. Maybe, maybe not.
I think we might have.
I see we have a visitor, but it is muted.
That's cool. He can hang out with us.
Hi. Maybe someone just wants to listen. Someone just wants to hang out with us.
Who wouldn't want to? What else did the Bills do that I've missed out on? LaShawn McCoy gets out of his whatever that was, the nightclub brawl that was nothing, right? So he's fine.
Except that he can't stay healthy. He might hurt himself walking to the showers one day.
That trade was kind of like whatever, because Kiko.
Well, Kiko can't stay healthy either.
Exactly. So I mean, at this point, whatever. I mean, it's weird that how many former Bills players are now playing for the Dolphins this year? I feel like, and I could be wrong because maybe I haven't followed it that closely, but it seems like they signed or visited with a lot of former Bills players. Am I wrong about that? I feel like they had Kiko in there. I feel like they had, God, who else did they have?
They had that weird salary dump trade.
Not all like great players or anything like that. We're talking just, guys on the roster.
The Titans seem to be the landing spot for former Bills.
That's true, too. Well, you guys, how's Andy Levitri treating you?
Well, he's with Atlanta now. We trade. They shipped his parts off. No, we very much enjoyed George Wilson and the new guy, Searcy.
Yeah, you did good with the safeties. The O-line. Yes, when Levitri went, I was like, well, enjoy that knee surgery.
Yeah, I mean, he had surgery every offseason he was here. But he did really well in Atlanta, and so I think they got a 6th-round selection or something like that for that trade.
Pick for him.
Well, what about your guys' team?
But paid him a shit ton of money. Anyway, so whatever.
I feel like you guys, as much as the Titans have been blasted, like every other team that is not stellar, you got a good young quarterback.
Yes.
Right?
He's the real deal. Mm-hmm.
You've got a division that is, I feel like,
weak.
Fairly open.
Sucks.
I mean, I would say open. I'm trying to be positive here.
It sucks.
But that's fine. It sucks means it's easier to win the division.
Yeah, it should be. That's what. Yeah, and the Titans have won 2 games one year and 3 games the next. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So how do you feel with your young quarterback of the future going forward? What's Marcus feel like? Because as a Bills fan, I would like to have that first-round quarterback that still felt good, whereas EJ felt like shit from literally the second I heard his name.
It seemed like a reach from the get-go.
Oh, it was 100%.
Yeah. Zach, what do you think?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I really feel like they kept Mularkey, even though Mularkey is at best an average NFL coach. At best, he's Mike Munchak. But they wanted that continuity.
Brian should know about that.
His ceiling is Jeff Fisher. That's where Mularkey's ceiling is. You could be completely fucking average forever and ever and ever. That's probably like the Mularkey ceiling is Fisher. Fisher should be the new kind of Mendoza line for NFL coaches because he has managed to stay employed while continually not being very good. It's pretty remarkable.
He got an extension by the Rams. That he moved with the team before. Yeah, he went with the Titans when they moved to Nashville in 1999. I mean, that was a few years ago, as some of us remember. bring me the head of Frank Wycheck.
I had to warn Brian about that.
That was Brian's probably favorite moment was when my cat knocked the head off the Frank Wycheck bobblehead.
That was a forward pass. That's all I know. It wouldn't have mattered.
Listen, I mean, the comeback game, it was, there's history there.
The comeback game is nice. That's a little feather in the cap that then led to a beating in the Super Bowl. But
you made it, I mean.
We did.
6 inches. We have the the stretch that wasn't, and it's,
There's a lot of jokes that just happened there.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, you say 6, I say 2 feet. Yeah, it's really a matter of perspective.
They say size doesn't matter, but
Who are you guys taking in the first round? Who's your wide receivers? You've got Kendall Wright. You've got who's the other kid that?
Justin Hunter, Kendall Wright,
Dorian Green, Beckham, y'all.
Harry Douglas,
and Rashard Matthews, who actually is a pretty solid free agent pickup, I think.
Yeah.
Better than freaking Harry Douglas, I'll put it that way.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's hard.
That's not.
I liked the Harry Douglas signing more than you guys, but, their wide receivers have not been good.
No. Your coaching, though, is it Weisenhunt?
No, they fired his ass, thank God.
Who's your OC now?
Let's drink!
They promoted, they went for the old school. They grabbed Rubisky, who was the wide receiver coach for the Falcons, but he's like 64 years old. And
their OC.
Dick LeBeau is like 75 years old. And about 7 years past his good defensive days. But
yeah, Dick LeBeau needs a very specific set of players to be able to run his system. At this point, he could probably not. Don't
tell any Titans people. They don't like it when you criticize the LeBeau.
Hey, as a Bills fan, I know how it goes. You can't criticize anything, no matter how bad your team is. Otherwise, you're not a fan. You're not a real fan.
Real fan.
Real fans support their team no matter what stupid shit they do.
Do the Bills actually have a nation? Because the Titans just have like a cul-de-sac. We have like 8 people.
Bills Mafia.
The Bills have a mafia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Bills have a mafia apparently. I don't think I'm involved, but I feel like I get a pass.
If you've suffered long enough, you do get a pass.
All I know is I can't wait to do this show 2 years from now when Tom Brady and Belichick are both no longer employed by the Patriots, and therefore they're probably going to be like an 8-8 team. And man, that is just it's
going to be glorious for everybody.
Oh,
I mean, we'll have a party. It'll be a party.
I hate those bastards. They're so good at their job, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why the cheating always pissed me off. They're good, and it just seems so unnecessary.
The way I see it is, if I'm the owner of the team, I'm going, why weren't we cheating as much as them? Because they got the rings, then they got a slap on the wrist. They're still got the rings. Fuck it, cheat as much as them. Go for it. Get the rings. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's going to remember. All they're going to know is they got the rings. Yeah, forget about why play the honest game? Come on.
Oh, excuse you.
Balls
Bless
and
you.
Videotape practice.
6 inches and deflate balls. We get it all here, people.
Yep.
And aren't they still talking about Tom Brady maybe still getting suspended again?
I think they are. And oh my God, poor Roger Goodell. If he could just get out of his own fucking way. But then again, at $45 million a year, does he really care?
He's just doing what the owners want him to do.
Of course.
People can get mad at him all they want, but that's who he answers to.
Yep. If the owners weren't happy, he'd be gone. He has made a shitload of money for the owners. He has made himself unbelievable. There's no way that the highest paid player in the NFL should be the commissioner, but it is. Mm-hmm. And more power to him. I want to punch him in the face repeatedly, but more power to him because he has jobbed the system and man, he has landed up in a very comfortable position.
Yeah.
That's my take on the condition.
Brian, how do you get that amazing, like, you have this, like, hair, like, style you got going on? I mean, you know, like, it's kind of like businessy. It's almost like a mullet in the front you got going there, I mean, with the beard, and the hair itself is kind of, you know, it's cropped.
I have to, you know, I got to go to work in the morning and dress respectably, and so there is some product in there that makes it do whatever it's doing. The beard is pretty much all natural. That just kind of does whatever. I try and keep it out of my mouth as much as possible, but I don't know. I'm lucky, man. My bosses do not make me shave, and
do you trim it regularly? Talk to us about your beard grooming. I'm curious.
No, I would say that it probably gets trimmed once a month when it gets really bad on the sides.
Okay.
I put a little oil in it every once in a while. I
was getting ready to ask you if you conditioned it.
I do condition it. I wash it with conditioner probably a couple times a week, and then other than that, it just kind of does its thing. I'm lucky. I'm hairy all right from here to here. Arm hair, nothing. Leg hair, nothing. But it's just all contained from the neck up.
Now, how long have you been growing this beard?
I have not shaved my face with a razor in probably 12 years or so.
Okay.
But I mean, I've trimmed this part.
Right. You don't want it to grow. You don't want a Rip Van Winkle beard, right?
Oh, I will let it go as long as possible.
Okay.
Some people are just challenged. I have trimmed it, but right now I'm just focusing on the sides. I'm gonna let it go as long as possible. I don't care.
Okay.
We're gonna see how much I can fuck with my dog.
I'd like to see how long it does get too.
Yeah. It takes a while. It's amazing. It's kind of stalled out right now.
It's very luxurious.
It's soft and comfortable. I will tell you that I probably could have like a small family of birds or something living in there. They'd be very happy.
And your girlfriend, does she like it?
Oh, I've trimmed it before, and she was like, "Yeah, you probably should grow that back. It's much better when I can't see your face."
Oh.
Limited exposure. I've been growing this for like 2 days. I mean, come on. Yeah, I don't do well with beards, as Sharona knows very well.
It really started as full-on laziness. It was, I just don't like to shave. I hate shaving. And I've been able to get away with not shaving. That's really where it all started. It was no, I didn't set out to have a beard or anything. I'm happy it's growing in, so it looks somewhat respectable. But if I had Keanu Reeves' face right now with his shitty beard, I would still have I would just have a long shitty beard, just because of laziness. There's no agenda.
More time for drinking if you don't shave, right?
Well, and also I never spill anything on my shirt.
See, there you go.
Never. I've got my own bib, just 24/7.
I like it.
All right. So what do you think? Do you think your Titans can beat the Colts? Do you think you could take that division?
Zach?
No. The answer is no. I don't have confidence in. It's tough because the ownership situation is so nebulous, and the coaching obviously has a low ceiling. But they were like, well, the floor is higher than Ken Wisenhunt, right? So,
but is the Colts
you have that one thing you want? You have the quarterback, which is great. But I'm afraid in 3 years they're gonna have a new coach and a new system, and I don't know. Mariota, I have not detected any personality whatsoever out of him, so maybe that makes him a good NFL quarterback because basically he's like, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to work 90, 150 hours a week, whatever. I mean, you don't hear anything. I don't even know if he's married, has a girlfriend. I have nothing. I don't know a hobby. All he does is he wears the Mariota, the leg thing. It's just,
That is a pretty good point. You really don't know anything about him, do you?
No, he's very low key.
I mean, all Andrew Luck has is the beard. There's really not much else there.
Andrew Luck's weird.
You're just, your beard is way better. You got a Hall of Fame beard, and Andrew Luck's maybe Trent Dilfer's best beard.
But the coaching situation, if you go apples to apples, the Colts, I'm not super excited about their coaches.
Yeah, their GM coach situation is weird. You know, it's fired, then maybe not fired, and
Mm-hmm.
now everybody loves each other, and they're all hunky dory, kissy, 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 kissy. Gus Bradley still in Jacksonville. I liked the hire from Seattle, but he hasn't done much there. And then, Bill O'Brien's probably the best coach in the division.
Yeah, right.
But the Texans, what?
Rock
And then
Osweiler.
I mean, their quarterback situation.
I mean, that seemed. I watched, like everybody else, watched Brock. There was good and bad and potential and all that, but man, what did he get a year out of that deal? He got a pretty good.
Like $10 million a year, something like that. It was crazy.
I thought it was even more than that.
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
Well, the deal is, on paper, it's 4 years, $72 million. I think 37 is guaranteed, which is a ton of guarantee. Well, I mean, and for a quarterback,
That's a pretty good amount, though.
But I mean, I don't even know what happened to him to put Peyton back on the field. Either he was ineffective or he got hurt. I still don't know. And Peyton was just as inadequate during the playoffs, but it didn't matter because the defense was so good.
Yeah. And then I heard that the Broncos kind of, I mean, they basically just shit the bed, and they thought that he wasn't going to get the offers he was going to get, so they just kind of like, whatever. I mean, I think they thought he was going to be instead of 4 years, $72 million, I think they thought he was going to be like a 4-year, $48 million or something, $52 million. And they vastly underestimated what the market was for him, and then he just got pissed off and was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. It's so rare that a quarterback ends up like the Peyton Manning situation was like once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because he had that neck surgery, he still didn't know, but he still got like $20 million a year. And now it's like any quarterback with a pulse. I mean, they traded for Mark Sanchez, the Sanchez, and of course I had to pick him up in a dynasty league because I have no backup quarterback, so why not? But I really doubt Mark Sanchez is starting for them opening day. They've been talking about Colin Kaepernick.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. What happened there?
Terrible. Colin Kaepernick?
I kind of thought Colin Kaepernick with Chip Kelly would be good, but apparently he doesn't have a quick motor. He can't throw the ball quick. The Oregon-type offense.
Colin Kaepernick is just – he needs to be in that perfect kind of a role, and I don't see how the Broncos is that offense. I really don't. I mean – I'm not a Sanchez fan. I've laughed at Sanchez as much or more than anybody else on the planet. But I wouldn't see Kaepernick as any big step up from Sanchez. So you've already got Sanchez. You've paid him whatever bullshit little money you've paid him, $2 million or $1.5 million or whatever it is. Let it ride with him. Kaepernick is not the answer in that offense. In Kubiak's offense, that's just goofy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the whole thing, it's odd, this crazy offensive league in the last 2 out of 3 years. Defense is totally dominated the Super Bowl. So maybe there's still hope. Of course, the Titans have no defense.
Every trend is like ready to end 2 years after it starts. It's funny with the NFL that way.
I like that. You got the refill coming in?
Yeah, I saw
Hey,
that.
saw that? Thank you. And look, I wasn't even done with my first one.
I need an official beer bringer. When Jen's on the show, she has like her brother bringing her drinks. It's impressive.
Well, luckily she didn't have to walk that far from the other room to the fridge, so I appreciated it.
And yes, it is true. I did the tweet up with Jen. We met in New York before we went to see Waitress on Broadway. We went to a Greek restaurant. Jen came walking in straight from work. Had 2 bottles plus some wine, and then she just grabbed the check like a boss.
Aww.
So, who is this?
Glass up to Jen Ryan, FFD Jen on Twitter.
Nice work.
And she likes your style too, by the way. So
I think she's a fan of the beard.
She's a fan. Who isn't a fan of the beard?
I like it, but hey, I'm biased.
You got the up close and personal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
He must be thinking, if Osweiler's worth $18 million, I'm worth at least like 12, right?
And I tweeted that a while ago. I don't remember, but a couple weeks ago it was kind of the point of it was if RG3 is worth 7.5, Fitzpatrick is worth 12.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take the two bodies of work, yeah, Fitzpatrick has won more games. He's been more consistent, even though he's inconsistent. But when you're comparing him to RG3, they ought to give him $12 million. I mean, what the hell the Jets are doing? I mean, now that the Brickashaw's out, they've got some cap room. Unless they want to go back with Geno, which as a Bills fan I would fucking love.
Yeah,
it's really fun to watch. I mean,
is the guy who cold clocked him still on the Bills?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. And that was one of the few Rex Ryan moves where I thought, well, all right, that's funny. It's kind of funny that he did that. I can appreciate that. I feel like that dude is not there anymore, but that still was pretty funny. I'll give Rex credit when it's due.
It was a Rex move, no doubt.
Borderline monster guy knocks out your quarterback of the future. I think they were kind of happy. They're like, oh, darn, we have to start.
Yeah, right. Did him a favor.
I don't know. Fitzpatrick has always been that guy who's puts up the stats, does okay, but he always kind of chokes. Like last year, they were going to make the playoffs, and they kind of blew it.
Mm-hmm.
But, damn, you're stuck here in that quarterback wasteland. I mean, the Bills are a little bit ahead of that. I kind of like, I don't know about, we'll see about Tyron. Well, they have him signed this year for $1 million. I mean, hey, that's free money right there.
Fitzpatrick he's a Trent Dilfer. If you give Fitzpatrick the #1 defense in the league that's dominant, he probably has a good chance of winning a ring. Like he's a Dilfer. He could throw probably a few less picks, but I mean that's the quarterback that you're dealing with. Everything else has to be perfect for him to be good.
That's the thing with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a gamer. He's a baller. Mm-hmm. He'll put, give 1,000%, but he always commits that game-changing turnover, whether it's an interception or a fumble. And, I love the guy, and I know, the Bills fans liked him too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's soul-crushing to have him as your quarterback.
Mm-hmm. That was the biggest issue with him. I mean, because totally likable guy, smart guy, hard worker, teammates love him, all that good shit. I mean, he is what you want a good teammate to be. But yeah, he's not. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's not, Jim Kelly.
He can turn
Joe Montana.
He can turn from Fitzmagic to Fitztragic in an instant.
It's so quick, and having gone through that with him as a Bills fan, it was kind of funny to watch it with other teams where I'm like, oh.
There you go.
Y'all just waiting for it. It's going to happen. I mean, it's coming.
That's true. You had
love
the
them what you want.
The Jets were laughing because you hired their coach, and you're laughing because they hired your quarterback.
Yeah,
wow, it's been a rough 15 years or so for fans of the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets. The Patriots have basically just
and of course
destroyed them.
How could they not? They've had one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and arguably the best head coach of all time. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, if you can't have a sense of humor about the fact that you're a loser in a division with two players that will never ever be forgotten in NFL history, what are you going to do? I mean, it is what it and forget just those two guys. I mean, they've had so many other good players
they have.
On that team throughout the years that the list would just go on and on and on and on. So,
But give, and not to take anything away from Tom Brady and these other guys, but Bill Belichick knows how to put guys in a position to succeed.
Oh, it's unbelievable. He is by far and away the best coach that the league has had in the last 15, 20 years.
Yes.
And undoubtedly one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And people that don't agree with that are really just kind of just hating and being assholes about it, really, because,
being ass haters.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking hate that I have to give the Patriots props for anything. But, I mean, you'd be an idiot to not recognize that. I mean, I would have fucking loved if Bill Belichick was the coach of the Buffalo Bills for the last 15 years. there's no way that it wouldn't be what it is. Even if Tom Brady was still the damn quarterback of the Patriots, you'd still have seen the Bills win a couple of divisions or get deep into the playoffs. It would have happened, but sadly we went through Wade Phillips and Malarkey and Jerron and every other slapdick coach they could throw at us, and we'll see how Rex does. I feel like that's.
Brian, I love you so much because you're one of the few people who agree with me. I'm just not the biggest Wade Phillips fan at all. He's like the Ryan brothers. He's living off bums rep.
Absolutely. He is a very good, very competent defensive coordinator. Yeah, be a defensive coordinator.
He had no choice. Like, he was in Dallas, and they finally fired him, and he's like, I think he took a year off, and he's like, all right, he was a coordinator.
And that's where he belongs, and that's where Dick Duran belonged. That's Dick LeBeau. I mean, there are certain guys that just, if you're an expert at that, and defense is a whole different ballgame from offense, stick with what you know. I mean, Wade Phillips is a hell of a defensive coordinator. He's proven it time and time again. Not a good coach. And Rex Ryan, unfortunately, has not yet been slapped in the face with that reality. I think once his Bills contract ends, which will end in failure, there's not going to be other teams out there that are going to be like, well, we need to hire Rex. Let's make a splash. I mean, the Bills hired Rex Ryan to make a splash, and they did. It's a fucking belly flop. I mean, there's nothing artistic or special at all about it. The Bills just took a big fat man and threw him in a fucking pool, and they wanted to give they were waiting for the Russian judge to give him a 10. It's not going to fucking happen. So I think once Rex is done with the Bills, I would be shocked to see him as a head coach again for a long time. I think he would spend the next decade being a defensive coordinator, getting back to what he does best, and that's where he should be, and that's where he would be most successful. And the Bills are going to, again, be searching for God knows what. Hopefully not just another transitional coach. But yeah, I think Rex, he needs to go the way of Wade, and they need to realize where you're going to be successful. I mean, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, so don't try and be something you're not.
What was your take on the Mario Williams thing?
I think that Mario Williams was vastly underused. I don't understand what Rex's plan was when he. Because I was not a fan of initially, and his first year was kind of whatever. But then all of a sudden they start letting him rush the passer, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's being Mario Williams. Disrupt the quarterback. Do your thing. And then all of a sudden they've got him last year dropping back into coverage, and what the fuck are you? I mean, why would you pay a guy who's known to rush the quarterback to drop back? And why? And then why would you pay him like $100 million? So they totally misused him. I mean, I guess it's unfortunate that he's gone, because if Schwartz was still there,
I don't blame him for being pissed. Do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm 100% with you. They put him not in the position to succeed.
Yeah.
You've taken somebody and you said you're really, really, really good at this one thing. Yeah. But we would like for you to do this other thing.
Yeah.
And we don't really care if you're good at that other thing, but also we're going to judge you on that other thing.
It's really a shame that the Bills didn't hire Jim Schwartz. They would have been such a better football team. Of course, would they have gone after Tyrod Taylor? Would they have made some of these other moves? Who knows? But I'm a big fan. I think that he'll get another head coaching opportunity. He acted like a big, immature baby in Detroit. There's no doubt. But I mean, he was a relatively young guy. The players were behind him from what they love him.
Whatever I've read and all that. And it just didn't make any sense. If you're going to go with a defensive coach, why not go with the defensive coach that literally just had your defense as a top 5 defense?
Yeah. Well, some people thought they were the number 1 defense that year. I
mean, they were awesome.
Yeah, they were very, very, very good.
Whatever metric you want to use, they were that was one of the best defenses in the league that year. And instead of going with that coach, they went with a different coach who then came in, shook the defense up.
You can't be changing systems constantly and expect success. You just can't.
I mean, Mario Williams comes in there. What did he have? 16 sacks or something under Schwartz? 18? I don't even remember.
It was ridiculous. Yeah.
And then you got him dropping back into coverage. Why would you not have him? Mario Williams' job as an NFL athlete should always be to try and kill the quarterback. And that's what he's done. That's what he's trained for Christ's sakes.
And that's what teams are looking for. Teams across the league. That's why Denver won the Super Bowl. They had two awesome edge rushers in DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, and they had some other good players too. I mean, their front seven was good. Okay. Best front seven I've ever seen.
And the Bills had that. And that's the funny part about it is that when you looked at the Bills' front line, going into the Rex Ryan thing, they had that. They had
that potential. Mm-hmm.
They had all those good players.
Jerry Hughes,
Marcel Darius, Jerry Hughes, and Marcel, and even their second string and third string guys that were coming in to play 15, 20 games a game, 15, 20 plays a game. Those are good players.
Yeah.
It
was crazy.
It's always been around.
He really did poop the bed there. He did.
He's an ego coach. There are certain coaches that will adapt their system to the talent that their players that they have to deal with. They will figure out a way to make that group of players work best. And then there are other coaches who are not nearly as imaginative or creative, like Rex, who have decided this is my system, and you will fit within my system.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm going to blame the failure of the system on your inability to fit into that system rather than my inability to adapt the system to your talent.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Where I feel like those coaches, that's where Rex Ryan is. Mm-hmm. There are certain guys that are just going to come in with their ego and they're going to decide, my system works, and if it doesn't work, it's because the player's fault, not because mine.
That was Ken Wisenhunt's demise in Tennessee. He had that exact same mindset.
Well, and that's why Bill Belichick's awesome.
Yeah.
He adapts. Yeah. If you can figure out what your players' strengths are and play to that and use that to your advantage, you're going to end up being more successful than the asshole that decides, this is what I do every time. And either we will do this or we will fail. And if we fail, it's because you didn't fucking do it good enough. Well, good luck with that. I mean, it doesn't work.
When Washington signed Albert Hainsworth, who was a great 4-3 defensive tackle, and they switched to the 3-4, and like 3 years later he's out of the league. And Mario Williams is a 4-3 defensive end, and that pissed me off as an IDP guy.
Me too.
Because he would switch from defensive end to linebacker, and he was useless as a linebacker, but great as a defensive end.
Yeah.
And then last year he absolutely sucked, and I got rid of him. And I had him since his rookie year. It was sad.
Well, he can work as an outside linebacker in a 3-4, but not in the manner that Brian was saying. You don't put him in the coverage. Yeah, you let him rush the passer.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I'm opening up a Red Brick Pipe Whale, which is a bourbon-aged imperial stout.
I still have a little bit left.
They use the term whale because that's like a rare beer, and they're like, we make this beer, and it's not that rare, and it tastes good. So, such goodness happening locally. Let's talk about that, Brian. See, now there was a long time ago, where you were getting upset at me because I had Bell's Two-Hearted Ale available locally, and you couldn't get it in Dallas. But now it seems like Dallas has a pretty good beer scene to cover up for that.
Man, Dallas beer scene is awesome. I will say that I am still a little bit sad that I thought Bell's was supposed to arrive last spring, summer. They never did. So maybe this spring or summer, because I do love some Two-Hearted. I mean, it is a fantastic IPA. But I will tell you, man, the Dallas beer scene is as good as any craft beer scene in the country. I mean, we've got some great water here, which I did not realize.
And we've got just natural water.
Just good water. Like, I mean, when I homebrew, I don't even fuck around with spring water. I just use the tap water.
Oh,
straight out of the sink, whatever, boil, it's good to go. I mean, so we have some good water. But there's some damn good breweries in the Dallas area that I don't know. I mean, if you're coming here, this area is soon to become. You know, people go to Colorado like for the beer, kind of like it's like a beer destination here. There's so many breweries in Colorado. Dallas is close to becoming that. I mean, I live half a mile from downtown, and there's probably 5 breweries that are within 2 miles of my front door.
Wow.
And I have frequented all of them.
Like this staggering distance.
Legitimately.
Yeah, that's
This is the color of the beer I like. You know,
They're legitimately. Oh, that's nice. What is that?
It is nice.
It's an imperial stout. Bourbon barrel oak chips.
Yeah.
All right.
I got
Sounds
2
good.
of them. I'm gonna do a mic and save the other 2. See how
Stouts
they
are my
go,
favorite.
they age.
Stouts are my favorite.
It all depends on the time of the year. Like right now, it's still like for whatever reason we're having a little cool front.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna finish my IPA, and then I have a couple stouts, some home brews from a buddy of mine that sent me a couple of his beers from Kansas City that I'm gonna try. But yeah, when it's cool, you have to have a little stout or a porter or something, I think. I mean, I don't know. That's just me.
I just
Stuff.
Drink by the weather.
I just had my first Pilsner.
Mm.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't, Pilsner's kind of I feel like a Pilsner is about that alcohol content in the 5 range where you're pretty much just kind of hammering those down when you're tailgating.
No.
You know what I mean? You know, I don't know,
Commonplace.
for me.
Well, speaking of hammering them down, didn't you host a league last year that had booze as the first prize?
I did. I hosted a couple. I hosted an MFL 10 with, I'm not going to remember. But the first prize was I provided a bottle of whiskey. Whoever won, it was either whiskey or beer, I don't remember, but Rumford Johnny won that. So
No.
I forget what I shot him off, but I sent him something. And then I had another league where the buy-in was you had to, basically the winner gets a bottle of whiskey from all of the losers. The winner was gracious enough, and his name is S. Lear. I don't remember how the all Twitter goes, but that's horrible. But he won. So basically the dude got, it was a 12-team league, 10 bottles of whiskey got sent to that dude's house, and then he did send 1 bottle of whiskey to the second place guy. So he's good on whiskey for a few months anyway.
Yeah,
Few months.
If it was me, it would be probably
A
like
long weekend.
probably 7 to 9 days. Yeah. But yes, I mean, if I'm going to do an MFL 10, I'll have a little fun with it. I don't know. At some point, I probably will sign one up again this year where it'll have to be a live draft because I feel bad. I'm in a couple of slow drafts right now, and with my schedule and everything, I know that I have had my draft timeout after 24 hours. I hate to be that asshole. So I'll probably do a couple of leagues where it's going to be a live draft. You're going to have to commit, but the prize is going to be whoever wins gets a bottle of whiskey, and they're not going to have to pay anything. So
that'll be cool. That'll be fun.
I do drink good whiskey, and so I would not send shitty whiskey to anybody because, I respect the booze.
Maybe we should have a live draft there.
I'm gonna name one of my fantasy football teams Respect the Booze.
Well, you have to. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's just there to help you.
And I do feel like
I'm the same way. I respect my bourbon.
I feel like I need to bring back the 2 mugs beer draft.
Mm-hmm.
Although honestly,
I love the beer draft.
sheer quality of just beer, I could just go from Atlanta stuff and have plenty of good picks. I think when we did it, because they did it for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think it was 2 or 3 years ago they stopped. And pretty much every beer that somebody drafted, and you had to draft different kinds of beer, they were all nationally known, hard to find beers. But that was kind of a fun one to do because it really wasn't a winner. It was just here's what I like.
Well, I think maybe we morph that into get your X amount of people, and they're going to just do a write-up on their 7, 8 beers, whatever. And then you've got now a write-up on whatever 70 beers.
Oh
And just
yeah.
let people have that.
That'd be cool.
And rather than make it into a draft, make it into a, hey, you're about ready to get educated on good beer. We don't just watch football. We also get drunk, is what we're trying to tell you.
And on the good stuff.
And if you're going to get drunk, exactly, don't drink friggin' Coors Light or Bud Light. God almighty. I don't understand wasting calories on that. I mean, would you, if the same amount of calories are a Fanta or a good sun-kissed orange soda, you go with sun-kissed. I'm just saying.
That's how I felt about the 3% alcohol beer. I'm not that big of a fan of empty calories anyway. And
exactly.
So give me the biggest bang for my buck.
Well, those low alcohol beers were for my live draft. That was really what I was keeping them for. Because I was drinking like a goose.
I'll make sure I do one draft, one NFL 10 this year where the rule will be that you have to at least enter the draft with like a .08 ABV. Like, you got to have that .08. And I've got a little breathalyzer right here. I don't think I'm that high yet. I got it for like $7 on Amazon when I bought a bunch of other shit, and I'm pretty sure I ordered all of that crap when I was high or drunk. Not sure.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
I found this in my. Well, where'd it go?
She doesn't even have track.
I found this in my room. I have no idea what this is.
Well,
I don't know what that is either.
Does it vibrate?
It looks like a dog leash thing, but I can't tell.
It does, but it's not.
Mine is a little.
See, that leash thing. I can't see.
We do have a local, draft I do, and I really think it'd be fun when we do our redraft. Instead of just drawing random names, you have an hour, and whoever's the drunkest gets the number one pick, or gets to choose their pick if you want to do that.
Now
that's the whole point of the live draft. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but the whole point of just we all get together and just drink a shitload of everything. And there's just a line of hard liquor, and people do shots, and I just want to do shots of beer because the hard stuff is, I can have it incorporated in my beer, but it's tough to drink on its own. I'm not mature yet to just sip like you.
I'm not a shots guy, really. I mean, I know that through Twitter I'm probably known as pretty much a massive alcoholic, which is fine. But
you said that like it's a bad thing.
Typically, if I'm drinking beer, I drink beer, and that's it. I don't really try to mix too much, because if I'm going to do that, it's like barbecuing or watching football or something, where it's an all-day event, and I can kind of pace myself. And if I'm drinking whiskey, that's pretty much, I'm not going to mix. I'm just kind of in there. I don't know where I was going with this. I think I just wanted to let you guys know that I drink beer and whiskey.
But what do you like in terms of whiskey? And is there like a recommendation for someone like me who doesn't drink the hard stuff?
First off, you've got to find your taste, and it's such a wide variety and such a wide range. I would say if you're somebody that is not, because I'm a Scotch drinker. I mean, I do drink some bourbon, but typically I drink single malt Scotch. If I was a beginner, I would start with more of a Speyside region. Is that cat have a mustache?
Yes.
Fantastic.
This is a scat man with his little mustache.
Fucking weirdo. I like the mustache.
He used to be, yeah. He has the beard, but it's the mustache.
He's a cutie.
That's a good-looking cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're gonna do Scotch, if you like smoky things, if you like kind of pungent, if you're a person that likes funky cheeses or seafood that is not like the normal generic seafood, but maybe there's like some like sea urchin or something where it's kind of a funky flavor and it's a little bit more in depth, you'll probably like an Isla kind of a Scotch. It's a little more smoky and peaty and has a little bit more depth. If you're just beginning, I would start in the Speyside region. It's a little bit more caramel and a little bit more soft and not as kind of in your face. So there's a lot of different variations of what whiskey can be. And
I used to drink Scotch all the time. It gives me a headache now.
Oh man. Well,
I'm trying to think of the name of the Scotch that I drank all the time. I'll have to look it up. There's this one, Demir's?
Doers?
Doers.
Well, that's because Doers is not good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
probably
you don't
why.
drink that. It's not that it's bad. It's that it's not good. Kind of just like it's like Coors Light.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, if I had to equate it to something, it's kind of that generic kind of a thing.
So I think I was hoping last year, because the Bills are playing the Titans, that you, me, and Dexter's Library would all get together and like drink, because I feel like we might have some kind of, I don't know, lost weekend situation.
Like Pacific trash vortex of football. The Pacific Ocean vortex.
Next time the Bears play at the Titans, which is years in the future.
I think we need to look at the schedule.
Dallas seems just fine.
I've got a little bit more flexibility this year, so I think we need to look at the schedule and see what shakes out where, because I do have a little bit more kind of ability to get away.
Yes, so today, I think today they announced the fact that they're going to announce the dates of the schedule this year, which is just so annoying.
Yeah, it's an announcement for an announcement.
I can't wait for 3 years from now when the Bills are playing 2 home games in China, though. You're going to be excited about that coming up, right?
It's going to be so fun.
Then when the Rams are the first team, let's play overseas. And the Jags.
It's going to be a clusterfuck, and honestly, when they go overseas, oof. That's going to be a tough one. I don't know how that's going to go over. I still don't think they've thought it through logistically of how you deal with that. But then again, the NFL is really, really, really set on making as much money as they possibly can. I know that the expanded playoff thing is still being talked about. I think that's fucking ridiculous. You might as well just let all of the teams at that point be in the playoffs and fuck it. We'll
That'd be awesome.
Kind of let it go and see what happens. At some point, there has to be an end to the money grab. I guess we'll find out if that point happens before they totally fucking ruin the game or not. I don't know. Again, not a fan of Roger Goodell.
I do feel like their goal is to have every team play an international game once a year. But you really have to give a team like almost a bye before and a bye after if you do, especially if you're going to Europe or China. It's the same thing. It's like a 20-hour flight. I mean, come on. I don't care if it's a private jet. That's a pain in the ass.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I get it. I get the thought process. They're trying to make more money, but it's one thing to go from like San Diego to Pittsburgh. It's another thing to go from San Diego to fucking London or something. I don't know. We'll see. But if the owners are making money, they will do whatever Goodell says, because the owners don't give a shit.
Have you gone to a game in the new crazy Dallas Stadium?
I have. Amazingly enough, I have not yet been to a football game there. I've been to a soccer game. I've been to something else, some other bullshit. I've been to a couple things there, but not a football game, because I can't justify paying Jerry $50 just to park, and then the money to go into that fucker.
It's like $100 just to go to a game, and then the parking and everything else.
It's literally $50 to park, and then your ticket, and then to get in there, they sell you a Coors Light for like $10 fucking, and that is just a slap in the face. So I think I am of that generation or whatever. I'm of the contingent that says fuck the live experience. I don't know if I care anymore. I want to go see some games in Buffalo. I'd like to maybe travel to just not even to experience the game live because I'm experiencing the game live, but to experience the game live because of the people I would be experiencing it with.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about watching it live, but like Zach, I would love to come out I would love to come out and watch a Titans game with you guys. Not because I want to watch a Titans game live, because I just think it would be fun to watch it with that group of people.
The experience, yeah. I agree.
And I think that's where the NFL is. I mean, the stadiums, there is no stadium on the planet, I don't care how good it is, There's no stadium on the planet that's going to provide me an experience that's better than the fact that my couch is like 8 feet from my big fucking TV, and there's no line in my bathroom, and I can get cold-ass beer out of the fridge and it don't cost me nothing. I mean, there's just no experience that's going to take that away. So for me, it's really just kind of like going to experience it with people in other fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun for me. But the rest of it is kind of like, it's kind of a wash. I'd much rather watch a game at home. I mean, shit, it's easier for me to interact on Twitter. It's easier for me to watch. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing's easier. Going to stadiums is a pain in the balls.
That's a tough thing, like, because my parents have the season tickets for the Titans games, but then it's like the 3.5 hour drive home, and it's hard to drive home on a Sunday, and then the Monday you have to take a day off work, and it's the Titans.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't even worry about taking me there, because I have the Red Zone at home. I got the Big Green Egg. I got, trust me, endless beers.
Red Zone.
I invite whoever wants to come over and
everything. You know.
The good thing about the Red Zone is the Titans are rarely on.
Yeah, you know.
So the Bills.
Yeah.
I keep them up on my illegal feed on my computer, which is like 2-3 minutes behind whatever anybody's doing, and I just watch it in this tiny little small thing, and I watch their fuck-ups, and I'm just like, oh, thank God that's not on regular TV for everybody else to experience. Like, they've saved this just for us, special people, to watch the failure. Nobody else has to revel in that.
So, Brian, are you writing anywhere, or are you just doing your Twitter thing?
It has been Twitter. My job has, I manage 140 people and one of the largest hospitals in the area that I'm at, so I'm so freaking busy. I wish that I could have that time to write. It's crazy how much my my real life has grown as far as career-wise. That's why when you guys asked me, I was like, shit, I have not paid attention to anything. We're basically just going to get drunk and have a good time, because if they're looking for too much football conversation, we're screwed here. But eventually, if it ever settles down, I'll absolutely get on somewhere. There's, Andy Miley is one of my dudes. The guys at 4 for 4 are awesome. I love Run for Johnny. I love Jim Day. There's a lot of great people out there that if I ever found myself with enough time to be able to do it, I would totally get back into it.
Well, good to hear, and I'm glad we had you on tonight, and I hope you enjoyed your beverages and your talk.
I think this is going to be one of the most least watched episodes ever.
No, it won't be.
But I'm hoping to be wrong about that, because I think what you should do is tease this by saying that I have launched some weird fucked up announcement, but then I'll just never announce it. Nobody will know. It'll be fine.
Next time.
Just get the clicks in there, man. It's like TMZ. Just get the clicks.
Yeah, Sharona, what you have going on besides being slightly ill, and you didn't hit the brandy yet?
I did hit the brandy. I'm drinking brandy out of a wine glass, a stemless wine glass.
Of the champion.
It says wine flies when you're having fun. I've been a little bit on hiatus. I've been moving furniture and doing family stuff, so hopefully the podcast is. But always with Zach. We took last week off, right? Did we do that?
We did. I was in New York, and I was like, you know what? I need a week off. We are going to have Matt Harmon on, I believe, next week. We just have to coordinate with his West Coast style and his amazing. I mean,
West Coast is the best coast.
Brian, the beard, Matt's hair. I'm telling you, that's
I'll challenge Matt's hair. I've seen his hair. I'll challenge it. I'm good with that. I feel like I got enough moose in there.
So a road trip to meet up with Brian would be pretty awesome.
Yep.
I guess that would be a top 5 experience. I haven't posted anything in a while on this show, so we're just going to leave it at that. So it's going for 2. Yeah. So thanks, everybody, for being on. And, of course, have a lovely beverage and kiss my grits.
Good night.